I just spent 20 minutes recording a video that didn't have any sound because I'm an idiot and I forgot to turn on my headphones. So, here I am. You don't know it, but I'm back again. Guys, we're starting our review unit and we're going to spend 2 lessons here. They're going to be a little bit longer just because I'm going to be explaining a lot of stuff. But I just want you to follow along with me. The video is going to be about 20 minutes, hopefully. And we're just going to do a couple problems together here. And I want you to pause the video, do the problem with me, whether you've got a sheet of paper or you can print it out. Doesn't matter. You should be doing these with me. Pause the video, do the problem, unpause the video, see the answer, and see if you've done it right. I'm going to give you a couple problems. We're just going to go through. We're going to do them together. Okay, just like we would in class. And then I'm going to give you guys some problems on a Google form sheet just to see if you guys can do a couple independently. Okay? So without further ado, let's get started. Round 2! Still a little salty about that one. But what we have here is I'm going to link this page. It's an air review. And although you guys don't have to take the air test, this is excellent review from the stuff we've done this year. And it should help set you up for next year, which we just got the word. We will not be back in the classroom this year. I'm a little bit sad about it, that I don't get to see your bright, shining faces every day. But it's more sad as you don't get to see mine. Or do you? Every day, right here. Or in my office hours, 9:30 to 10. If you got questions, concerns, or you just want to say hi, I guess it's okay too. Okay, here we go. Number 1. There are 24 panes of glass in 8 windows. Use the ratio to complete the table below. This is a rate problem, not necessarily a unit rate problem, but a rate problem. So if there are 24 panes of glass, we would have to finish this out. So we could do a couple different things here. Okay, we could find the unit rate and then fill this out. We could even add our own extra part here, 24 8, right? What I would do is I would find the unit rate, and then we could help fill this out entirely. So if it's 24 panes and 8 windows, how many in one window? And we set it up like this. And in order to get down to one window, you divide by 8. And so up here, you would divide by 8. And 24 divided by 8, 3. So there are 3 panes of glass per window. This is really going to help us fill out the rest of this table. 3 panes, 1 window. That's what we just figured out, right? Now, if there's 3 windows, with 3 panes per window, then to go backwards, we just multiply. 3 times 3, which will be, there will be 9 panes in those 3 windows. Same thing with this one right here, right? 5 windows, 3 panes per window, 5 times 3, 15. And then the last one we need to figure out is if there's 18 panes, how many windows would that be? Well, again, going back this way, we'd be dividing. 18 divided by 3. That would be a total of 6 windows. Boom. Problem number 1. Done. Number 2. Which expression is equivalent to y to the 4th power? This is a good question because it has to do with exponents. We haven't touched on exponents in a little bit. Y to the 4th power. Anything raised to a power means you are multiplying that thing by itself that many times. You won't believe how many people think y to the 4th power just means y times 4. Now, there's a couple things wrong with this. First of all, we don't use x for multiplication. It's gone. Done. Never will again. We use x, right? Y times 4. That's what people think that is, but that's not it. If I wanted to do y times 4, I would tell you y times 4. I wouldn't do some crazy thing like y to the 4th power. Y to the 4th power means y times itself times y times y. 4 times there, right? Y times y times y times y. So which of these up here is equivalent to that? A is y plus y plus y plus y. No, that's addition, right? We want to show that we're multiplying y times itself 4 times. B, 4 times y. No, we just decided that's a terrible answer. Right, we're not doing 4 times y, we're doing y times itself 4 times. C, y squared times 2, which would be y times 2, which doesn't look like y times y times y times y. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't work. Finally, we get down to d. Y times y times y times y is exactly what we're looking for. You know I don't like the x's, but you know a lot of books still use them. Just hope you guys know that we are always shifting away from those the further you get into mathematics. This is our answer here, D. Moving right along. Next one we're going to talk about here is number 3. And this is about a composite figure. We're trying to find the area of a composite figure. We did a couple of these together. We mainly focused on non-composite figures, but this is a great question here. There are 2 different ways you could decompose this to find the area of it. You could find the area of this rectangle right here and this rectangle right here, and then add them together. In order to do that, that rectangle would be 5 by 3. So you would have a 5 by 3 rectangle. And then this rectangle over here, which takes a little bit of thought to figure out, but you know that this side length is 2. All you need is this side length right here. But in order to figure that out, you know that the full length of this side is 6. The length of this side up here is 3. So then the length of this side here must also be 3. So we have a 5 by 3 and a 3 by 2. One of these shows that, and that is B, a 5 by 3 rectangle and a 2 by 3 rectangle. That's one of the ways to decompose it. Another way, instead of drawing your line here, you could draw your line here and make this rectangle, like this big long one on the bottom, which would be a 6 by 2 rectangle. And then you have a square up here on top, or a rectangle, because a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. Besides the point. But this rectangle up top here would be 3 by, we don't know the measurement of either of these sides, but we could figure it out because the full length of this side is 5. And then the length of the side is 2, which means that this side length must be 3. So this is a 3 by 3 rectangle. And which of these shows a 3 by 3 rectangle and a 2 by 6 rectangle? That is C. And those are your 2 answers for number 3. Hopping down to number 4. I'm moving a little bit quicker, guys, because like I said, this is my second time doing this. If you got questions, please ask them, but hopefully this is some good review for you. Number 4 of the most recent chapter that we did about data. Which of the following is a true statement? Again, make sure you guys are pausing the videos, trying these on your own, and then getting the answers, because just watching me solve problems does not make you better. Okay? I get better, but not you. So try it yourself first. All sets of data have a mode. Well, what's mode? Mode, a number that shows up most often. Do all sets of data have a number that shows up more often than others? No, that's not true. There doesn't always have to be a mode in a set of data. Therefore, A, not one of our answers that we're looking for. B, the range describes the spread of a set of data. Range is the distance from the first number to the last number. That is talking about the spread of a set of data, called a measure of variation. So that is a true statement, but I want to make sure that the other ones aren't true just to be safe here, because you might find a better answer. C, the interquartile range describes how data vary from the mode. Does interquartile range have to do with mode? No, it doesn't. Mode is the number that shows up most often, and our quartile range is the distance between Q1 and Q3. So those don't have anything to do with each other. D, the mean absolute deviation describes how data vary from the mode. Again, mean absolute deviation does not have to do with the mode. Mode is a measure of central tendency. Mean absolute deviation is a measure of variation. So D is a bad answer as well. Our answer that we're looking for here is B. The range describes the spread of a set of data. We are going to skip over to problem number... I'm going to leave you guys these ones. We're going to put these 2 problems on your practice for your forms, just because they're similar to the ones we just did. But we are going to go to problem number 10. And we're going to do problem number 10 together. This is an excellent review from expressions. We struggled a little bit on our expressions unit, but we are going to do A, B, C, D, and E all together here. I want you guys to do this first, okay? And if you're struggling, you don't remember how, you can watch me do A, and that should remind you of how to do the rest of them. So you really need to try all of these. Okay? If you do anything in this video, do all of these with me because this is great practice. Place a check mark in the box next to each expression that is equivalent to 60. And in order to find out if these expressions are equivalent to 60, we have to evaluate them. And it tells us what the answer or what y equals for each of these problems. And it's all different. So we have to solve each one individually. So this is how it works. Okay, if you hadn't done this yet, please try it on your own. And if you don't know how to do this, watch me do this first one and then do the rest on your own. A, in parentheses, we have 1 plus y squared times 3. You know I hate the x's, but they're here, so I'm going to use them just to not to confuse you guys. And it says that y equals 4. Here we go. This is how you simplify an expression. The first thing you do is you substitute. The most important rule in algebra. We've talked about this so many times. And substitution is when you take a number, right, that a letter is equal to. So y equals 4. You take that and you put it into your expression right there where y is. And when you do that, remember that most important rule is you put it in parentheses. So this will be 1 plus, and in parentheses we'll put a 4 squared outside here times 3 minus 10. All I did was just copy the rest of the problem down. I did change these parentheses to brackets because I put another set of parentheses in there, but those are basically just bigger parentheses. So I just rewrote the problem and put a 4 in where the y was. Now I have to follow my order of operations, right? Hopefully you guys remember this. Please excuse my dear Aunt Santana. And then we follow order of operations. First thing we're going to do is parentheses. We do have a set of parentheses, and we do have an operation inside them. We do have addition inside these parentheses. We're going to do that first. 1 plus 4 is 5. Next, according to order of operations, we are going to do exponents. 5 squared. 5 times 5 is 25. Next, we will do this multiplication here. 25 times 3 is 75. And 75 minus 10 is 65. And if you remember what we're looking for here, and this is one of those problems where it creates that upside down triangle. Some of you guys called it a piece of pizza or a Dorito. Or you guys are weird. Whatever you guys called it. But you get your answer down here, which is 65. And what we're looking for is expressions that are equivalent to 60. So A, not equivalent to 65 or 60, so therefore is a non-equivalent expression. We're going to move right on to the next one. Okay. Now, hopefully that was a refresher. So if you guys weren't able to do A on your own, please do the rest of them on your own. Try them out and see if you got them right. Okay. After this one, we're going to end the video, and I'm going to leave you guys some problems to do. I promise it's not going to be too long, as long as you guys just give me some good practice here. Next one is 100 minus y to the third power times 5, where y equals 2. So here we go. I'm going to substitute in 2 for y. And just rewrite the rest of the problem down. Follow my order of operations. First thing I'll do is the exponent here. 2 to the third power, which is not 2 times 3. It's not 6. It's 2 times 2, which is 4. Times 2 one more time, which is 8. So we have 100 minus 8 times 5. Common mistake here. Some people might do 100 minus 8 next because they're going left to right. But order of operations says you got to do multiplication first. 8 times 5 is 40. And 100 minus 40 is, in fact, 60. There is one of our answers that is equivalent to 60. B is an answer. Next, moving on to C. 4 times y squared minus 4 to the third power, where y equals 6. First thing I'm going to do is substitute in 6 for y and rewrite this problem. I'm going to put that in parentheses because I don't like that. And now we're going to follow order of operations. Parentheses first. Mr. Johnson, there is a set of parentheses there. I know, but there's no operation inside them to do, so technically there's nothing for us to do with that. So we move on to exponents. There are 2 exponents here. We'll take care of them, each of them. 6 squared, which is 6 times 6, and that's 36. And 4 to the third power. 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. Now, this is cool. I got to talk about a little trick that I showed you guys earlier in the year on how to multiply 1 and 2-digit numbers. 4 times 36 Remember I showed you guys how quickly I could do those in my head? And it was because of the distributive property. So off to the side here, I'm going to remind you guys of that. If you remember, 4 times 36, you don't have to do 4 times 36 or memorize what that is. You can do 4 times 30 plus 6. So we can do this mental math, right? So if you split 36 into 30 plus 6, you can do 4 times 30 because 4 times 3 is 12 plus a 0, which is 120, right? Plus 4 times 6 is 24. That's an easy math fact for us. And that's how we use the distributive property to help us do that mental math of 4 times 36. And 120 plus 24, 144. Minus 64, 80. C, I'm sorry, you are not one of our answers. You are not equivalent to 60. I'm going to move on to D now. We've got 15y plus 6 squared minus 7 times 3, where y equals 3. And we're going to plug in 3 for y right over here. Plus 6 squared minus 7 times 3. And we're going to just follow order of operations again. Okay, there are no parentheses to take care of, so we are going to go straight to exponents. And we only have one here. 6 times 6 is 36. And I'm just going to rewrite the rest of the problem down. This might seem tedious to some of you, and I know I've argued with a lot of you guys about continuing to write down and show all your work, but solving problems, not just math problems, solving problems, any problem you solve in life, being organized is the most important thing to solving problems. Being organized, staying composed, and being organized helps you stay composed here, right? We don't want to make silly mistakes here. Those are the worst. After we do the exponent, we're going to move on, and we got some multiplication here and here. So we're going to take care of both of those before we do the addition or subtraction. 15 times 3 is 45, plus 36 minus 7 times 3. And again, it doesn't even take that long to stay organized or show your work, guys. Come on. And I don't want to hear that argument. Well, if I don't have to. Okay. 7 times 3, 21. 36 plus 45. And now we can take care of our addition and subtraction. We do that in order from left to right. 45 plus 36. 81 minus 21. 60. It is equivalent. So D is another one of our answers. And finally, the last one we're going to do here. E, another expression. These are great practice problems, by the way. We have y times the quantity 4 plus 2 to the third power, where y equals 5. And now all we have to do is substitute. Most important rule of algebra. Put it in parentheses there. Right here, 5, 4 plus 2. Sorry, that's a 2 to the third power. And then we'll have a lot of people say, oh, Mr. Johnson, there is addition inside these parentheses. So we're going to do that first. That's not true. Although there is addition inside these parentheses, there are two operations happening. There is addition and there is exponents. And according to order of operations, what comes first, the addition or exponents? Exponents first. 2 to the third power, we did that one earlier, right over here, I believe in this one. And we know that 2 to the third power is 8. Now we can take care of that addition inside this parentheses. 4 plus 8 is 12. And 5 times 12 is 60. And that is equivalent. So B, D, and E are your equivalent expressions to 60. I'm going to leave you guys a few problems in your form to answer. Do those for me. Get some good practice in today. And enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.